They said the black market wasn't a place, it was an idea. A network of whispers traded over encrypted chats, hidden alleys, and unmarked warehouses. Devin wasn't sure how he'd stumbled upon it, just a string of peculiar ads popping up after hours spent combing the dark web. Items no one should be able to sell, memories of a forgotten era, regrets, bottled, and a cryptic item you can't refuse. It was the latter that caught Devin's eye. A simple link and equally simple address, 88 Ashford Street, midnight. Payment, something precious. He was a thrill seeker. Always had been. Riding roller coasters, bungee jumping off cliffs. But this was different. It wasn't about adrenaline. It was the itch to unravel the taboo, to see what people whispered about in hushed tones. That's what brought him to the cracked facade of 88 Ashford Street, a nondescript building with no signs, not even graffiti. The air was damp and carried the faint metallic tang of rust. Devin hesitated at the door, his pulse quickening. He had no idea what payment, something precious meant, but a small part of him wanted to find out. Inside was an overwhelming maze of sights and smells. Tables lined the walls, covered in everything from antiques to medical supplies that screamed highly illegal. Strange people milled about, hunched figures in dark hoods, elegant men and women with faces too perfect to be real, and others who looked wrong as though they had been shaped by someone unfamiliar with human anatomy. Looking for something special? A raspy voice asked. Devin turned, startled. The man was rail-thin and draped in a heavy coat that looked like it had been patched together from a dozen mismatched fabrics. His eyes gleamed like polished onyx, unsettlingly reflective. Yeah, Devin muttered, suddenly unsure. I saw an ad. Something about an item I can't refuse? The man grinned, revealing teeth that were sharp and discolored. You're a curious one. He gestured for Devin to follow. They weaved through the bizarre marketplace until they reached a small stall hidden in a dark corner. The table bore a single item, a jet black box no bigger than a shoebox. This, the merchant said, tapping the box with a bony finger, is exactly what you're looking for. What is it? That's for you to discover. Everyone's box is different. Unique to them. Devin frowned. It sounded like a scam, but there was something unnerving about the way the merchant stared at him, like he was peering into his soul. How much? The merchant's grin widened. I told you. Something precious. Devin hesitated, then reached for his wallet. He pulled out $500 in cash. The merchant shook his head. Not money. Precious. Something that matters. Devin thought for a moment before sliding his grandmother's locket off his neck. It wasn't valuable in the traditional sense, but it was the only thing he had left of her. The merchant snatched it eagerly, tucking it into his coat. Fair trade, he croaked, sliding the box toward Devin. As soon as the box was in his hands, Devin felt its pull, literal and figurative. It was heavy, unnaturally so for its size, and its surface seemed to pulse faintly beneath his fingertips. The moment Devin left the black market, the unease began. He noticed the shadows were thicker than usual, pooling around streetlights and lingering where they shouldn't. The box felt heavier with every step. By the time he reached his apartment, his chest was tight with anxiety. But curiosity burned brighter. He sat at his kitchen table, turned on every light in the room, and examined the box. It had no seams, no hinges, just that smooth, inky surface. He ran his fingers over it, searching for an opening. As his palm brushed the top, the box hissed softly and a crack appeared. Inside was a photograph. It was a picture of Devin sitting at his kitchen table, this kitchen table. Same angle, same lighting. But the background was wrong. The shadows on the walls seemed alive, swirling and writhing. A chill ran down his spine as he realized the photo showed him looking at another photo inside the box. He reached in again and pulled out a second photo. This one was from behind him. A dark figure loomed in the corner of the room, featureless except for glowing eyes. Devin spun around, heart hammering. Nothing was there. The third photo showed him holding the box, his expression twisted in terror as the shadow figure loomed closer. His hands trembled as he reached for the next photo, pulling it free. This time the shadow wasn't in the picture. It was behind him. The hairs on his neck stood on end as he felt the air grow colder. Slowly he turned, his breath shallow. The shadowy figure from the photo was there, its glowing eyes fixed on him. "What do you want?" Devin croaked, backing away. It didn't respond. Instead, it pointed at the box. Devin hesitated, then picked the box back up. It was lighter now, its surface warmer to the touch. The figure dissolved into the shadows as he opened it again. Inside was another photo, but this time it wasn't him. It was his grandmother. She was sitting in her rocking chair, her face frozen in a mixture of confusion and fear. "No," Devin whispered. A muffled noise came from the box, faint but unmistakable, a woman's voice calling his name. Desperate, Devin grabbed his phone and called the number for the merchant. It rang endlessly before going to voicemail. He yelled into the receiver, demanding answers, but there was no response. Over the next few days, things only got worse. Devin couldn't sleep, haunted by nightmares of the shadowy figure dragging him into darkness. More photos appeared inside the box every night, each showing loved ones in increasingly horrifying scenarios. His best friend screaming silently, his mother standing motionless in a dimly lit room, tears streaming down her face. He tried throwing the box away, even burning it. But each time, it reappeared on his kitchen table, pristine and waiting. By the 7th day, Devin was at his wits' end. The last photo was of himself again, but his face was gone, a blank slate of skin. That night he vanished. When authorities searched Devin's apartment, all they found was the black box sitting on the kitchen table, untouched. Every officer who handled it swore they heard faint whispers coming from inside. The box disappeared from evidence storage 2 days later. Rumor has it it's back on the black market, waiting for its next buyer. And so, the Merchant of Shadows waits. Always waiting for someone curious and desperate enough to pay the ultimate price.